Well, hello everybody, how are you doing this fine day? I hope you're enjoying your week. I know what you're thinking. Rouga, how could you possibly lie to us so blatantly? There's no way you have candidates that are better than the near perfect candidates that we already have. How could these new candidates that you introduce possibly outdo the current primary candidates who are fairly elected and chosen by the people to represent them and not chosen by a bunch of randos completely skipping the fucking primaries so that the fucking candidate that we're all voting for wasn't even chosen by the people, because that is what the American electoral system is designed to do. Present the will of the people to choose a candidate that best represents us. And don't get me wrong, I understand your skepticism. How could the good Lord bless us with 10 JFKs in a single election cycle? But I must respond, shame on you for doubting what the good Lord can do for you. So that's what we're here to do today, is to present candidates that, as impossible as it sounds, rival or even surpass the amazing candidates we already have. But I've wasted enough of your time. Let's get started. So first up on the list, we have Farquaad. So let's get something straight about Farquaad. If he was elected for president, the whole migrant crisis and border crisis bullshit would be done yesterday. No disrespect to Kamala. He's done an amazing job as the border czar. The whole, reverse psychology, we're just gonna let them all in, and then they're gonna walk up and be like, oh shit, why is it so easy? Maybe we shouldn't go in there. Maybe it's a trap. Brilliant. I would have never thought of that as an option. But I mean, that's why I'm not president. Genius, just pure genius. However, dare I say, Farquaad might actually be better. I mean, this man goes around and rounds up every single fairy tale creature and just dumps all their asses in a swamp, and they just stay there. I mean, I don't know why. There's no walls around the swamp. They're not chained anywhere. Shrek and Donkey are clearly shown leaving. So why don't all of these fairy tale creatures just leave the swamp? The only thing I can think of powerful enough to keep them all there is Farquaad's pure short king energy. I mean, it's such a good tactic that the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida have stolen Farquaad's ideas. They took a bunch of migrants and just chucked them into New York City and be like, you fucking deal with them. I mean, honestly, Farquaad should fucking sue these people for stealing his brain properties. If this man was elected day one, he would go around the whole country, gather all the illegal immigrants, and just chuck their asses in a swamp. Boom. Fucking migrant crisis ended. Wait, hold up. I live in a swamp. Oh, shit. Never mind. Fuck Farquaad. No. Don't do that. Next up on the list, we have Handsome Jack. Now look, we got a serious problem in this country that takes the form of an insane crime wave that is sweeping through our major cities. Now, some of this is due to the immigration problem, as I've already mentioned with Farquaad, but some of it is just a lack of policing and just a general disrespect for the rule of law. And I double dare you to come up with a presidential candidate that would be tougher on crime than Handsome Jack. The man was taken in charge of Pandora, a planet that was completely covered in bandits. That's one of the worst crime problems I've ever personally seen in my life. And I live in New Orleans. And this motherfucker hit that shit hard as you could possibly imagine. Now, he is going to lose some points here, as he was eventually thwarted by a bunch of terrorists and criminals who, for some fucking reason, didn't want him to remove the bandit problem that he was trying to deal with. But that doesn't change the fact that he was a revolutionary leader who was going to war with the criminal element in ways that no other presidential candidate has ever done before. And he did so without ever disrespecting the Second Amendment. That man was super pro-gun. I mean, he was just handing that shit out to people like candy corn on Halloween. Now, one problem that he might have is he may not actually be able to be elected in a fair and honest election like we do have here in the United States. And that's because in the United States, the black vote is the most important vote in the country. Well, it was. And as far as that goes, he probably won't get the black vote for reasons. I mean, he just can't compare to Kamala's passing blackness or Trump's relatability to the average black woman. I mean, look at that bitchin' weave. Next up, we have Senator Armstrong. And let me tell you something about Armstrong. This man is a full-sail believer in the meritocracy. He believes that every single person needs to go out there, work, fight, and strive to earn what's theirs. Now, while this isn't a problem in the United States government, because obviously it's perfect and everybody in there has earned their position of power through feat needs and having a long history of putting the American people's needs before their own, if anyone were to somehow skirt that system, as impossible as it sounds, Senator Armstrong would smack that shit down the moment it happened. He disrespects this whole weakness that exists within our current culture. The fat acceptance movement, he swats that shit down. Go to a gym, you fat fuck. Participation trophies, what the fuck is that? You got people saying they're traumatized and shit because they were slightly inconvenienced. Within 4 years of his presidential term, he will weed out the weakness and the fucking festering, putrid, pathetic wimps right out of the fucking country. It's almost like taking the concept of the red pill movement and electing into office, except he's not a whiny bitch. You know what? It's kind of like if you elected David Goggins as president. And I mean, I'd be cool with that. Next up, we have King Bradley. And look, here's the thing. I'm not gonna, throw accusations around. I'm not gonna say whether or not I think Trump colluded with Russia or didn't collude with Russia. Hasn't been proven, it's all up in the air until we actually see him be convicted. However, if he did collude with Russia, he didn't do a very good job because he went to court for it. So obviously someone found out he colluded with Russia. And if he didn't collude with Russia, he's also not very good at it because he had to go to fucking court for it. Point is, whether Trump colluded with Russia or didn't collude with Russia, he's bad at doing one of, if not both of those things. I've always been in the mindset that if someone is going to pin some shit on you that you didn't do, I mean, you might as well do it, right? Like, I was once arrested for necrophilia, and I had never done necrophilia, up to that point in my life. Bradley, if he was elected, he for sure would absolutely collude with Russia, and there's not a chance in hell anyone would find out about it. Look, the fact of the matter is that when you become president, there's a certain amount of illegal shit that you need to do. Obviously not for self-gain, but for the good of the people. This is what we expect. It's as the great Richard Nixon himself said, when the president does something, it's not illegal. And Bradley will be able to do all of the horrible shit that he needs to do as president, obviously for the good of the people, because a president would never do horrible shit that's not for the good of his people. That's what his job is. It's to represent us. And when he does that horrible shit, there is not a soul in this world, not even his own fucking mother, that's gonna be able to figure that shit out. I mean, the man became King Bradley. He's not even fucking human, and nobody knew anything about it. How do you not know that shit? That is truly fucking impressive. And it's a skill that guacamole and Trump just straight up don't have. Next up on the list, we have Andrew Ryan. Do you feel at times that the government has kind of overstepped its boundaries a bit? Just taking that one step too far into getting in my personal shit where they shouldn't be? Like, the fuck I gotta pay $9,000 in taxes for last year? Fuck did I do that makes me have to give you $9,000? Why? Is funding 2 separate wars not enough for you motherfuckers? Look, America, either go to war or don't go to war. Don't go sending all my money off to fucking Ukraine and Gaza and shit, just propping up a war that will inevitably be lost, and then Russia can just swoop in and take all the fucking guns once they murder the shit out of Ukraine. You want to help Ukraine go to war? If you're too much of a bitch to go to war, don't go to fucking war. Stop sending them all their money. That's my fucking money. I mean, what the fuck is the point of a brake tag? I haven't paid for a brake tag since 2016. And you know what? I'm not going to, because a government issued con is still a fucking con. I'm not doing it. Point is, Andrew Ryan is on my side of things, where he does believe that there's too many taxes and the government is involved in your shit way too fucking much. And he backs that shit up and gives people the freedom to do what they want to do. If you want to become a plastic surgeon that just mutilates and fucks up all your customers, you could do that without any legal ramifications. If you want to do all kinds of crazy scientific experiments to give people weird superpowers like summoning bees out of their forearm, you can do that. The government will not step in and tell you no, because they don't have any fucking rights to do that. This is my goddamn life. This is my house. This is my business. I do whatever the fuck I want. And Andrew Ryan isn't so far off the beaten path that he doesn't believe that there should be no government. He just believes that the government should not have the power that it does. And given my general disposition of not liking the government or doctors or just people in general, that shit's right up my fucking alley. And on top of all this, the man's an entrepreneur that builds a whole fucking city underwater. That's cool. I want to look out my fucking window and see a shark. Rapture will rise again. Yeehaw! Next up on the list, we have Scar. And you might be thinking to yourself, you can't elect Scar as president. He's a lion. He don't even speak English. Well, okay, racist. But Rouga, how is he supposed to go up there for a debate? He's just going to start mauling his opponents. You filthy fucking bigot with your goddamn stereotypes. I bet you wouldn't be complaining if fucking Mufasa was up there, the light-skinned lion. I mean, for fuck's sakes, that light-skinned bastard took an entire race of people and casted them out and forced them to live in a fucking boneyard. Scar wanted the best for everyone. But oh no, Scar's got a bit of a tan, so now he can't be president. You fucking homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, am I missing any? Cancel this motherfucker. All Scar wanted to do was feed his people, and they weren't even his fucking people. He was taking in a bunch of hyenas from outside of his country with all of his compassion and givingness. It's not his fault that everybody started starving. I mean, the fucking rain stopped and the crop stopped growing. How the fuck you gonna put that on Scar? Isn't that funny how that happens? Scar gets a bunch of outsiders that don't live in the Pride Lands to come on in, and the whole fucking society falls apart because it can't sustain all the new people. No, that's not related to real life at all. It's just a kid's movie. Next up, we have Boa Hancock. Now, let's say you want a candidate that's a little more feministic. You got Boa, that is the quintessential example of a feminist leader. She's a strong, independent woman that don't need no man, and even beats the living shit out of them when they get on her nerves. She has an entire society that functions perfectly without men, somehow. Don't know how they repopulate. But who am I to mansplain how you need high birth rates to sustain a country? She don't need me or any man telling her how science works with her feministic powers. But the moment a disgusting, misogynistic, woman-hating man appears, Boa gets a bit of a crush. And then she throws out her entire belief system, all that I don't need no man stuff, goes out the fucking window, and her entire personality shifts to become that prime wifey material. Yep, sounds like a feminist. Next up, we have Saber Arasaka. Now, do you feel like there isn't a politician that truly represents your values? There's this common idea that floats around American politics about taxing the rich. And for your average everyday Joe, well, yeah, that's a good idea. Tax the rich so you don't fucking tax me. But those people are a bunch of goddamn bigots because they're picking on a minority in this country, which is the rich. For too long in this country, open bigotry has been allowed to thrive and prosper against these poor people. Well, you know, not poor. Ugh. Gross. This is where Saburo comes in. A man who has worked hard his entire life to inherit a company that his grandfather built. A true businessman like no other. Are you anti-government? Good. So is Saburo. He doesn't want government anywhere near his country. He wants to put the corporations in charge. And you know what? Good for him. The governments are assholes. They want to constantly control you and strip you of your freedoms. The corporations, they just want your money. I could get behind that. I like money too. That's something that's relatable. Arasaka will keep the Reds away from your door. All this socialist commie bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Capitalism for life, baby. The voluntary exchange of goods and services for economic growth. Because Arasaka shed his sweat, blood, and tears to inherit his company, and he wants to give the people the opportunity to do the same for themselves. Saburo Arasaka 2024. Let's do it. But that's going to be all for me today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, if you join the membership, you get videos early. And for today, and only today, if you join the membership, you will get a coupon to the same spray tan parlor that Trump goes to. So you too can be the color of success. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?